I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer for RealTime Fantasy Sports, and today we're going to talk about the RTFFC Green 1 draft that took place yesterday afternoon on our site. This is a new color added to the RealTime Fantasy Sports Championship. It's the green draft, and ironically, 5 owners picked up on that new color green and put the color green in their team name. So 5 owners went ahead in this draft and used green in their team name. That's one interesting tidbit. Lots of other tidbits in this draft I want to talk about. Talk about some things, trends that happened in this draft. Also give you my views on some of my favorite teams and picks. So let's show you the draft board before I get into that so you can see what I'm talking about here. There's a draft board for everybody to look at on our site. And first thing I wanted to note is that 2 teams didn't take their first quarterback until round 12. That's team High, Nicholas Joyce's team, High Hermitage. He didn't take his first quarterback until round 12, which was Daniel Jones. Then he went back-to-back quarterbacks, and he took Jared Goff with his next pick. The other team that didn't take a QB until round 12 was James Brinton, and he took Aaron Rodgers in round 12. And again, just like the other team that didn't take a QB until late, he took Baker Mayfield with his next pick. So these 2 teams didn't take quarterbacks until round 12. Then they went back-to-back and hoped to use this platoon system of their 2 QBs to take them all the way to the RTFFC Green Championship. Another interesting note, a couple picks I want to talk about where they went. DJ Moore, he was the 7th receiver taken in this draft. That's the highest I've seen Moore go. Chris Godwin, another receiver, went very high. He was the 3rd receiver off the board before players like DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill. So love new colors, took Chris Godwin with the 3rd receiver in this draft. He took him before Hopkins, Hill, Julio Jones, to name a few others. And then DJ Moore, like I said, he was the 7th receiver picked. He went to Nicholas Joyce, who had the 1st overall pick in this draft, and he took DJ Moore as the 7th receiver in this RTFFC Green 1 draft. Another pick that was interesting to me was Hayden Hurst. He was the 6th tight end selected in this draft. Again, this was Nicholas Joyce who did this. Obviously, he knows the players he's targeting, and he's going to take them maybe a little sooner than the ADP suggests, but he went ahead and took Hayden Hurst as the 6th tight end in this draft. And another note that I wanted to talk about was the Greeny team. He did not take a running back until round 4. So the Greenbacks, his name on here is Greeny. He took Michael Thomas, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes with his first 3 picks, and then he went Kareem Hunt and Mark Ingram. So he went a little different route than most teams in this draft, who all had running backs in the first 2 rounds in the draft. But Greeny waited, took Kareem Hunt in round 4. We'll see if that strategy pays off for him. Another note I wanted to talk about was Juan Rangel. I would assume that's how his name's spelled. I apologize if that's not correct. But he took all receivers and running backs with his first 9 picks in the draft. So he loaded up on that position before taking a quarterback in round 10, which was Matthew Stafford. James was another owner that did this. James Brinton, he did not take another position until round 8. So he took all running backs and receivers with his first 7 picks, and then he took Evan Ingram in round 8. And lastly, like I mentioned, 5 teams took made their team names have green in the title. So they went with this theme of the RTFFC Green 1 draft and went ahead and put green in their team name, which was interesting to me. I don't think I've seen that yet. So let's talk about teams I like. A lot of good teams in this draft, but 3 of them stood out to me. I really liked what John Mardelin did. I apologize, John, if I messed your name up, but I thought he had a solid draft. Let's go over his team. He took Josh Jacobs with the first pick. Then he got Nick Chubb, George Kittle, Juju Smith-Schuster, Devin Singletary, Devontae Parker, A.J. Green, Adrian Peterson, Tevin Coleman, Tom Brady, Curtis Samuel, Drew Brees. That was the core of his team. I really like his running backs. I think he did well with depth at that position. And Juju Smith-Schuster was his number 1 receiver. I know a lot of people are really high on him this year. I might not be quite as high on him, but I think he did well to get him as number one, since he took George Kittle in the third round. That kind of, changes the way the dynamic of your team. And I think John did well with that receiver spot, adding good depth after taking George Kittle in the third round. So I really like his team. Hulk Green is another team I like a lot. I think he did well in this draft. He took Derrick Henry, Chris Godwin, Todd Gurley, David Montgomery, Dak Prescott, Tyler Boyd, Zach Moss, Darius Slayton, Matt Breida, Henry Ruggs, TJ Hawkinson, Cam Newton, and Jonnu Smith. I don't know if I'm thrilled with his tight end position with Smith and Hawkinson, but hopefully he can platoon those guys to get some good weekly numbers. But I really think his running back depth is very good. He has 3 very good running backs. He used that with his first 4 picks. He took Henry, Gurley, Montgomery. Godwin, thinking a little bit out of the box here. I think he thinks he's going to repeat from last year's huge season for Godwin when he broke out. But I think his depth is good at receiver. He did well getting Tyler Boyd, Darius Slayton, Henry Ruggs, and Chase Claypool late in the draft as well. So I think this team had a solid draft. Hulk Green. Lastly, I want to talk about the Oregon Ducks team. Another team I thought had a solid draft, good core to his team, a very good starting lineup. He has Alvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, Raheem Mostert, DK Metcalf, James White, Michael Gallup, Philip Lindsay, Emmanuel Sanders, Chase Edmonds, Austin Hooper, Benny Snell Jr., Justin Tucker, Darrell Williams, and Jack Doyle. I really think he did well waiting on that tight end spot. Got Hooper and Doyle. I think those two will be just fine for him. And then the core of his team, Lamar Jackson, third round. I usually don't feel great going quarterback that early, but I think Carl did well here. Carl Kolchak is the name of his team. Again, I apologize if I butcher your name, but I think Carl has a very good starting lineup. He got Tyreek Hill as his number 1 receiver, Kamara as his number 1 back, Lamar Jackson number 1 quarterback, and then Mostert, White, Lindsay, and Chase Edmonds. He's hoping one of those guys can fill that number 2 running back role. And I love DK Metcalf this year. He got him in round 5. Gallup, I think, is good value in round 7 as well. So I think Carl did a really good job in this draft. Again, lots of good teams in this draft. A lot of these owners did great in the RTFFC Green 1 draft. And that's the recap of this draft here. And if you want to get in one of these real-time fantasy sports championship drafts, we have them going off every day. Chance to win $10,000. Sign up right now to get in one of these drafts. You can draft today, tonight, whenever you want to take part in this RTFFC championship drafts for a chance to win $10,000. Again, this has been the RTFFC Green 1 recap of that draft. I'm Jeff Paur. I really appreciate you watching. We'll be doing a couple more of these the rest of the week. So tune in and get in one of these drafts and let me talk about them on the air. So again, thanks a lot for watching. This has been Jeff Paur for RealTime Fantasy Sports. Have a great day, everyone.